What's up, guys? Zach in here.
Rick in here.
And in today's video, we're going to show you exactly how to scale and automate your wholesaling real estate business. So let's talk about it. Scaling and automating your wholesaling business. I think it's one of the small things in wholesaling real estate that sounds super sexy to do, but nobody really likes talking about the actual nitty-gritties of it. So we're going to talk about it in this video. So I'm pretty excited about it. So when it comes to scaling and automating your business, is it true that you can just completely automate your wholesaling business, put it on autopilot per se, and just go to the beach and relax all day?
Go to the island behind us?
Yeah. Is that true?
Well, so at some point, I think it was somewhere in early like 2004 to 6, brilliant marketer came up with a strategy took a picture of himself on the beach, like a Mexico beach, probably with a beer in his hand and a laptop there, and said, hey, listen, you can flip properties virtually. You never got to do any work. You're just going to automate everything. And if you're not doing this way, you're doing it wrong. You're wasting your time. And I'm here to tell you, I've yet to have it work that way. Yeah.
I've never seen it done that way.
No, I mean, in theory, you can do some of it that way. But the reality is you're going to have to find a way to scale your business that makes sense. So everybody talks about this sexy scaling, like grow it to be $1 billion empire. We're talking about how to automate the wholesaling business specifically so you don't drive yourself nuts. Am I correct?
Correct.
So that's what we're here about. So I'm not going to teach you how to do it from a laptop sitting on the beach because that's a pipe dream.
It truly is. Everyone thinks that's the way automating your business is. And in reality, automating your wholesaling real estate business is about having the right employees in there to be able to do the tasks that honestly are not income producing for you, or really the best use of your time. I truly believe tasks like cold calling, SMS text blasting, cold calling cash sales for cash buyers, that's all stuff you can automate and delegate pretty easily, right?
Correct. So when we say automate, it doesn't mean you give it to somebody and you completely forget about it. So like one of my rules for any type of automation, and especially scaling, is you want to try to walk a mile in someone's shoes before you tell them how to do it. And then second part is, how are you going to manage them if you don't even understand it? So a perfect example is like cold calling. I'm just going to automate it and send it out. Yeah. What happens if you've never done a cold call yourself, or you have a partner and you have no experience doing it, and say you just hire a VA to make 10,000 cold calls? How does that usually work out?
It never works out well.
Because you don't know what KPIs to look for. You don't understand if they're using their time effectively, and you have no idea if they have the right conversion rates going on because you don't understand it. So rule number one, whenever you do anything scaling, automating, make sure you understand it 100% so you can look it over, you can manage it, and make sure it's effective.
I agree. It's like you going out there and trying to coach like a German soccer team. Yeah, you can watch a couple.
That'd be a bad team.
It'd be a bad team because you can go out there and watch how German soccer works on YouTube and feel like, yeah, I got it after watching like 3 matches. Guys, it's completely different. Now, if you're going out there and maybe managing a sales team, you kind of know what to do. You know, you got the blueprint, you know wholesaling pretty well, you know cold calling. That's what some of you guys are doing on wholesaling real estate. You're trying to teach like German soccer when all you know is Canadian hockey. Like, you just can't watch YouTube videos and just think you know exactly the entire nitty-gritty niche of cold calling for wholesaling real estate. The best way to coach for cold calling is to be into cold calling. That's why I always tell people, if you're going to teach someone cold calling, make sure you've done the hours it took to get into cold calling to share and teach the right way on how to cold call. Do you think Bill Belichick or any of these really amazing football coaches out there hasn't spent the years and the times as an assistant, as like a graduate assistant, like as an assistant to the assistant of a coach, learning and just having experience before they actually got in there and start coaching other people? Yeah. No, you had to put in the time.
So the worst thing you can do is delegate a task and you don't really understand it other than the overall scheme of it, and then expect to get incredible results from it. Actually, it's going to frustrate you. It's going to upset you. And you're going to lose a lot of money, and you're going to have to start all over again. Yeah. And guess what? I've done this. I'm telling you right now. I've never, ever cold call. Like, he's the one to do cold calling. You know how we figured out cold calling? He just got on the phone and started doing it. Like,
that's it.
You're better off taking that strategy than hiring a VA or even a consultant to help you figure out cold calling. You got to dive in the trenches, and suddenly when it's your time and your money, you figure it out quick. Now, the good news is, I think in 90 to 120 days, you can figure it out. You know how? Because once you start getting deals, you want to duplicate that magic. And then from there, you can figure out which KPIs so you can manage who's ever doing the cold calling. At some point, someone sold you this idea is like, just delegate the stuff that you just hate doing. And I agree with that. But you can't delegate it if you don't understand it and you don't know how to measure it. Because guess what that cold caller is going to do? I just need a little bit more time, Rick. Just give me another month. Give me another 2 months. Give me another 3 months. And like a perfect example, SEO PPC.
Yeah.
Now, full disclosure, I don't completely understand it. I would never, ever try to run the KPIs for that. But the ones I have hired, they're always like, give me 3 more months, give me 6 more months. I'm talking about $20,000, $30,000, $50,000 more. And at the end, it always seems to be the same thing. We need more time, Rick. And if you don't understand it, it's very hard to outsource it and manage it.
That's the truth. I mean, it's amazing the amount of people that think you can just throw some parts of your business off without you completely understanding it. It makes absolutely no sense. So the one thing when it comes to automating or wholesaling real estate business is you need to do the dirty work before and understand a complete wholesaling business before you start putting people in to do the job for you. That's exactly how we scaled up our wholesaling real estate operations and automated it. We've done the acquisitions before. We can go out there and teach someone acquisitions. We've done the dispo. We've done the dispositions before. We've done the marketing. Guys, we know exactly how to do it because we've been in the trenches. Now, when it comes to next is scaling your wholesaling operation, this is part of automation too, which is delegating and actually hiring people to do the stuff. But it comes down to a certain level of things and creating the right structure for scaling. And it's super sexy. It seems all complicated, but at the end of the day, it's really simple. It's just, you're just increasing your marketing and increasing the amount of deals you're getting, right?
Correct. So another tip you want to do is if you have not taken the time to sit down and document your processes, what you do from start to finish, meaning you're leaving it all up in your head, this is where your problem is, because like not everyone can see what's going on in your head. And I was guilty of this early on because I did this business by myself for 7 years. I was the acquisitions person. I was the lead manager. I was the marketing manager. I was the dispo manager. Yeah. I was the get everything done manager. And I'm just telling you, I remember I went to go write it down. And it was just like, it seems overwhelming. You don't realize how much is going on in your head. So you can't hire someone and you would have to sit there every minute of the day and tell them what's going on. So number one, take whatever task it is you're looking to outsource and write it down. Make sure you have mileage at doing yourself. And then just keep looking it over. And remember, people only retain about 20% of what you put in that document. So make it the most important stuff and make it, we always talk about, it's just like, if you're going to tell someone to make a peanut butter jelly sandwich and walk away, don't be surprised if it comes back toasted, all sorts of stuff, because they're going to take their own interpretation. I know that's simple, but the idea is you just tell someone to do something, make cold calls. Okay, here's a list. Yeah. You're just going to call.
Ready?
So if you start...
You're looking to sell your house right now? Okay.
Yeah.
Like that's what, like you just hire a regular person, like let's say you live in Dallas, guy from Dallas off the street or a gal, go learn a cold call. They're just going to, hey, you're looking to sell a property? Boom. They're going to be like, your results are terrible. You're fired. That's one of the biggest mistakes people do in wholesaling.
And then they just blame you for your lack of management and you didn't teach them it.
Yeah.
So you've got to go in your company long before you hire someone and you got to spell out the process and you test it. So use your partner, one of your other employees, and go, does this make sense? Mm-hmm. And walk through it. Otherwise, you're going to be disappointed. And I can break this down. We can go on forever here. Like acquisitions, dispositions, the marketing, cold calling, whoever runs your direct mail campaigns. Everything has to be broken down. And guys, it takes some time. Don't think you can just cram this out in like an afternoon and get this all done.
No.
So I would piecemeal and go, okay, we're going to work on cold calling today. We write it down. And then you start building your systems of operations. And by the way, it's constantly evolving just like a regular corporation does. And So many of you guys just go out there and go, oh, somebody told me to outsource it would be that easy. And it's not that easy. And then let's talk about acquisitions. What are your feelings towards people outsourcing acquisitions?
I mean, acquisitions should be the last hire.
Yeah.
So this sort of gets into our complete scaling system. And what's up, guys? I'm not going to go spring it up and just talk about it all the time. Guys, you watch the lives, freewholesaling.com is where it's at. But when it comes to actually scaling up your business, it comes down to basically a system of left to right. That's kind of the way my brain thinks, from left to right. It's kind of like a system. You're manufacturing a real estate deal, kind of like Henry Ford's assembly line. The way he did it was you go from one part to the other to make it as efficient as possible. So the way that we do in our wholesaling real estate business, the way that we used it to scale is from the beginning of the assembly line to the end. We go from making the tire, you got the person putting in the chassis for the car, you got the person putting the engine, doing the paint, and then it's perfectly done at the end. So the way it is done is in the beginning, it's basically three components of it. It comes to marketing, acquisitions, and then dispositions. And each one in that conveyor belt has a specific task. Marketing task is specifically, this is what you do when you're trying to scale your wholesaling business. So marketing's specific point and goal is to just get in front of and write down people who are looking to sell their property, who are interested in selling it. That's it. That is all they're trying to do. They're just trying to find yeses to people who are looking to sell the property. That's it. No, I don't knows or knows. Only people that are looking to sell their property. Next goes here to acquisitions. Acquisitions, their sole goal is to convert a yes into a contract. There is nothing more that they need to do. Okay? All they got to do is put a yes into a contract. That's as simple as you can make it. Disposition is as easy as it comes. You sell the contract, and that's all you do. That's literally all they do. They are specifically trained for every single piece for efficiency. That's why in Henry Ford's assembly line, they had the person making the tires. That's all they did every single day. Guess what happens when all you do for 40 hours a week for years and years straight, all you do is make tires?
You get really good at it.
You get really good at it. So when you have a wholesaling business where the person's only thing that they do is cold call, SMS text blast, or answer phone calls, they're going to get very good at it, right?
Yeah. So it's also known as like when you parse something or parsing, it means you compartmentalize it. And then once you narrow it down, go, okay, I'm not going to worry about dispositions. I'm not going to worry about marketing. If you're just parsing acquisitions, that's all you look at. You don't look to the left and right, and you figure it out and do the most efficient process as possible. And the other advantage of doing like the parsing assembly line is when that employee or somebody breaks, instead of teaching the whole system, you can slide somebody in there and put them in there and just teach them that one.
It's perfect.
It's quicker, it's more efficient, and the whole assembly line doesn't break down.
Yeah.
And that's the problem a lot of you guys do is you try to train everyone your entire business, and when in reality, if you isolate them, it's much easier to keep the assembly line going. So if that person breaks down, you could slide in temporarily, keep it going, or while you're training someone. And that was my biggest mistake in the first 7 years. I'm like, how am I going to teach everyone to do this entire part of the business? So parsing or creating the assembly line is a huge difference maker when it comes to scaling your wholesaling business.
That's it. That's just like, it's like doctors to a point. Hey, if I, God forbid, had a heart issue, I'd rather have someone that is a cardiologist that only does heart-like things. That's all they do. That's their specific training. I don't want my cardiologist to go fill in my cavity. There's too many things going around. Yeah. That's why you want a dentist. Doing specific trainings for something, especially with like medical, is amazing. And doing it for your real estate business will actually help you a lot. You don't want to become a CEO, and you might be thinking, oh, I want to be a CEO.
No, you don't. It's not fun.
That's actually a chief everything officer. You don't want to be a chief everything officer, okay, guys? You just want to be a business owner. There's a certain specific there. So, guys, when it comes to these type of hires, the ones that we'd recommend with scaling up and automating operation is...
So when it comes to marketing, it's really simple.
Who should your first hires be?
The first hire, I would go with marketing. And I would try to find a VA or someone like it, maybe finally locally. You're not always stuck with a VA. Have somebody answer your incoming calls, your inbound leads. That would also have someone cover your SMS. Now, depending on your scale, that can be the same person or it can be two different people.
Yeah.
In a perfect world, if you parse them, you make one a specialty for SMS and then the other one for if it's cold calling or whatever it is. And that's their only task and that's all they're responsible for. Now, when we go to acquisitions, it's either going to be yourself or you're going to find someone specialized just to do the marketing and they got to be one heck of a report person, but their only job is to connect and get contracts. They're not doing follow-up customer service. They're not doing dispositions. They're not doing project management. Guys, learn from my mistakes. Learn from his mistakes. That person does a specific job and they do it to the best of their ability. And if they do their job really good and you want to add some more, then you can do that. But in the beginning, make it very simple, straightforward, and that will really help your scalability.
That's it, guys. So, guys, for marketing, guys, remember, first hire always should be someone, if you're doing a bunch of direct mail, answering the direct mail. If you're doing cold calling, make sure you got a cold caller, an SMS person, acquisitions manager, and then lastly, dispositions manager. I truly believe that that is the way to do it. First hire should always be marketing. I would say acquisitions or dispositions is up to you, which way it's spending the most time for you. And then from there, you can scale up the business from there and create more people, get more marketing, and then go from there. But at the end of the day, a lot of these real estate YouTubers and gurus, they make scaling your business super complicated. And truthfully, it comes down to just those three things that you can delegate.
That's it.
Where you don't have to work so hard in the business. There's no such thing as passive income in wholesaling.
Mm-mm.
You always have to be checking it up. But you can go from working 60, 70 hours a week in wholesaling, making $200,000 per year, to making millions and only working 5-6 hours a week. That's the truth about scaling your business, right?
Yeah, and when you first get started, like my first 2 years, I was so excited to do everything. Like you couldn't unwind me, and that's how you guys should be feeling. But as you mature and you get along, it's like there's some of the monotonous tasks you want to break down.
And you master the skills.
Correct. And so many of you have bought into this, outsource this, outsource that. Well, I'm here to tell you, you've got to have a system. You've got to parse. You got to make an assembly line. And you got to make it very, very laser focused and make sure they produce. If they don't produce for the company, it's going to hold you back. And you got to look at it. Is it that person or is it your system? Boom. And by parsing, you can identify that easily.
Exactly, guys. So that is it, guys. That is how to scale and automate your wholesaling business. Guys, if you get any value of this video, please smash that like button and subscribe. Boom. Get it going, guys. Appreciate it. This is Zach In signing out.
Guys, this is Rick In signing off.
Have a blessed one, guys. Thank you,
guys.